8 of the NFL season gave us a bunch of takeaways, a bunch of risers and fallers for fantasy football, and we're going to be breaking it all down right now. We're going to have weekly ranking videos coming out as well, so make sure you smash that like button on this video. It really helps us out, and like and subscribe. Vikings, Chargers, Thursday Night Football. The Vikings, it's bad. Wentz, you're out, buddy. McCarthy's going to be coming in on the road in week number 10, or week number 9, going to take on the Lions in a tough matchup where the Lions are 9.5-point favorites. Honestly, Jefferson, Addison, both of their stocks probably has to fall because I haven't seen McCarthy be able to elevate these guys. So keep in mind, there's going to be a bit of a new learning curve coming in here where Wentz actually made these guys fantasy relevant. With McCarthy, you can't really trust him. The Chargers. First off, Kamani Vidal, he's good, man. This guy's had he's at 2 out of his last 3 games. He's been a fantasy football stud. He is the lead back. Lad McConkey, another good game. 14 points receiving, plus the tutty brings him up to 20. The main takeaway here, there's 2. The big Q, Quentin Johnston, stock is falling down, crashing back down to earth. You got to kind of hope for one of these receivers to maybe get banged up. Quentin Johnston still leads the team in touchdowns, but he had 0 catches, 0 targets, wasn't involved. Trey Harris had more. So disappointing as a big Q fan, and you cannot have him in your lineup in week number 9. I wouldn't trust him. Oronde Gadsden's the main winner from week 8, all of the games. This guy is a stud. Back-to-back weeks of very, very good performances. 5 catches on 5 targets for 77 yards and a tutty. Waiver wire must add target. Go spend all your fab on him. Bucks and Saints. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a good football squad, man. In a game where Baker Mayfield doesn't have his top weapons, he doesn't even throw a touchdown pass. The Bucks defense actually comes away with a bunch of takeaways, and they help elevate to a good win over the Saints stink. They're 1-7, but this was a divisional matchup, and things get glitchy here. Tez Johnson, he's actually the lead receiver for this squad. Without Mike Evans, without Godwin. Hopefully we see Godwin coming back here soon. But Tez Johnson, he's earned borderline flex trust. Egbuka, he might be banged up, man. He got 9 targets, but he had a not-so-efficient day. And Rachaad White lost work to Sean Tucker due to how inefficient he was. I still think you trust Rachaad White in your lineup. You have a QB change for Atlanta. Don't roster Schuff. Kamara, they kind of got away from the ground game because of how they fell behind. And they didn't really use Kamara much. There was an injury scare for Kamara. In terms of passing, only 2 targets as well. Really, really weird game script for running backs. It's not like, Devin Neal was in there stealing work. He had more targets, more catches, I guess. Kamara, hopefully better days are ahead, but this Saints team stinks. Nobody else really fantasy relevant. Shaheed has his best game of the year. Olave and Shaheed. I trust Olave every single week. And then Shaheed is kind of like a decent floor type flex play. The 49ers sold this game. Every time I looked on the game, it was a receiver dropping a pass. A pretty good thrown pass, too, from Mac Jones. George Kittle, after his goose egg, bounces back 4 for 43 and a touchdown on National Tight End Day. You'll like to see that. Kendrick Bourne, I think he's droppable. Brock, I don't know, man. Kendrick Bourne, it's not super exciting, and you'd have to have everybody injured for me to really trust him. There has to be a good game script. I just don't know how you can time it, right? The big news here is that all of the Texans receivers were banged up. So CJ Stroud had to spread the ball out. You had Hutchinson involved. You had Jalen Noel involved. Higgins was involved with a tutty. It's like throwing darts at a dartboard. Like, do I really care who to add? Not really. You can add any of them. I don't really have a preference in any sense of the way. I expect Collins to come back. But the big news is go get Woody Marks, man. If you didn't already, I know it's hard because he's already rostered, but Woody Marks, in my eyes, is now the clear starter. He might have had less rush attempts, but he had more rush yards, and he was insane in the receiving game, which is what he was known for in college. 4 for 50. He had over 100 scrimmage yards coming off of a touchdown in week 7 as well. So Woody Marks is here. Ravens dropped 30 on the Bears. The Bears sold this game. Caleb Williams, inefficient again, and he's going to have to fall down in the QB rankings just because he's not been effective in the red zone. DeAndre Swift, 45 rushing yards and a touchdown. You're happy to see, if you're a Kyle Monangai owner, that he still was almost 50-50 with DeAndre Swift. Monangai didn't get any targets or anything, but he did have a couple chances in the red zone. Didn't capitalize on them, but he's still a pretty solid handcuff back, I'd say, right now for Swift. Now, it's not the best offense, but it is what it is. Receiving wise, you have Rome Odunze, another great game. DJ Moore, Colston Loveland getting a bit more involved, but this Bears offense just didn't look good. Derrick Henry, King Henry's back. This Baltimore Ravens team is going to get Lamar Jackson back for a short Thursday Night Football matchup, short week at the Dolphins. So I think that Derrick Henry's going to have another good game. Ollie Gordon was also a bit involved for Miami. We'll talk about him later. Receiving-wise, Zay Flowers gives a good floor. Nobody else relevant at all. I'm disappointed in Isaiah Likely's role in the Ravens squad this season. The Buffalo Bills, James Cook is the storyline here, as well as Josh Allen. Josh Allen on the ground had 2 rushing touchdowns, and he had the passing touchdown. Not much passing volume because of the game script here. Khalil Shakir, 6 for 88 and a touchdown. He's a good flex play. Coleman has been disappointing ever since his breakout game earlier in the season. I think Keon Coleman you can't put in your lineup. Same thing for the tight ends here. But also keep in mind, they have a matchup with the Chiefs in Buffalo, where I expect higher passing volume. James Cook's a really good back, though. The Panthers had no Bryce Young, which I guess holds them back. You actually have Chuba Hubbard being, again, more inefficient than Dowdle, but getting more rush attempts than Dowdle. Dowdle, they got to lean on him more, man. It's getting into like Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet vibes. Not a huge fan. Ted McMillan almost had 100 yards receiving quietly. I'd put him in your lineup. Browns and Patriots. Harold Fenton Jr., you can trust in the tight end spot. 6 catches, 62 yards on a touchdown. Browns are on bye this week coming up. And they said they're going to stick with Dylan Gabriel coming out of the bye. You didn't hear that. Quinshon Judkins banged up. Ooh. Go grab Dylan Sampson from waivers immediately. It was a shoulder injury for Judkins. We'll have more news from that. Hopefully the bye week gets him right. Drake May is a fantasy football darling, man. This guy, 50 rushing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. I like him. You actually have Travion Henderson getting a bit more involved. Look at the efficiency. 7.5 yard carry average until he fumbled away his starting job. You know, very late in the game when they were up by 1 million, he fumbled. It turned out that the Browns got on the goal line, or on their goal line, and then they got a safety. So I guess he kind of got bailed by the defense. But still, hopefully that this trend continues where maybe Travion gets more carries. I think it was just game script though. Receiving-wise, Booty gets another touchdown. I don't trust the receiving volume really for anybody here in New England. I feel like it's kind of like Philly, where when A.J. Brown and Devontae are there, and Goddard, you know, which one of them is going to be the one getting the targets that week, it's hard to know. The Jets and Bengals, high-scoring game. A lot of fantasy football points scored here. Justin Fields. Surprisingly, the Jets put up 40 points, and Fields didn't have a good fantasy day. You know, Breece Hall was the main guy. 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Davis is a premium handcuff back as well, especially if they trade Breece Hall, which I think is a high possibility here. So I would grab Isaiah Davis from waivers. Receiving-wise, nobody really relevant except for Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor worth a stash. The Bengals, you have Flacco, 2 passing touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 12 receptions, 91 yards, must start. T. Higgins, terrible performance, but salvages his day with the only grab of his day being a 40-yard touchdown. And Chase Brown, again, you're starting him in your running back spot if you can. Dolphins and Falcons. Falcons stunk it up. No Drake London. Kirk Cousins is in. I thought that Darnell Mooney would have a good game. 4 targets, only connected on one of them. This was a bad Kirk Cousins showing. It hurt Bijan Robinson. The only guy that played well for Atlanta was Pitts. And Pitts is having a good season, man. He's, again, contract year. Of course he's having a good year. The Dolphins also had a really weird game as well, where they actually played well. Jalen Waddle. I mean, looking at the passing volume, it was kind of a normal passing volume game. It was just the Tua didn't look like dog you know what. Waddle, I still trust him in the flex spot, but keep in mind this guy can have a 0 at any point. Ollie Gordon should be rostered, and Achane, again, is a premium running back. Titans and Colts, JT is a league winner. Tyjae Spears, I think he's going to, grow and grow as the weeks go on, and he's going to steal more and more work from Pollard. So Pollard is falling, Spears is rising. Iomonner leads the team in targets with DK, 4 for 52. It's not bad coming off of a not-so-good Week 7. DK, it seems like he might be stealing that role from Iomonner as the lead target for Cam Ward. Cam Ward, not a great game, but 260 yards, not terrible, I guess. I think DK is a good waiver wire ad. Indiana Jones, 3 passing touchdowns. JT, 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 through the air. Pittman had a good day. Downs had a modest performance, but he had a touchdown. And Warren has better days ahead. Pierce is good for best ball. Cowboys and Broncos. We'll talk about that in a second here. We might as well see if we can get games of the 2-minute warning while I'm doing this. Jackson. Oh, the Giants. Rest in peace, Scam Scatabo, bro. You hate to see it. Go add Tyrone Tracy, though. Go get Tyrone Tracy. Spend all your fab on Tracy this week. Wan'Dale Robinson, he's had some decent floor. Decent floor for Wan'Dale. I think Wan'Dale you can trust in your flex spot. Saquon Barkley, banged up. You might want to add Tank Bigsby as well. Because if Barkley misses time, Bigsby actually looks really solid rushing the football. Devontae Smith with no A.J. Brown this week. You have Goddard with 2 touchdowns, but doesn't do anything. The Eagles didn't have to pass the ball like usual, but Devontae actually still gave you almost 15 points. Cowboys and Broncos. Let's take a look at this game. It's not concluded yet, so it'll change a little bit. You have Dak doing absolutely nothing. They actually put in Joe Milton. Wow, can you believe that? But you have Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, both 15-point days. Honestly, both decent games. It's just you expect a bit higher, but you're not completely disappointed. Especially for Pickens, like 7 for 80 is not terrible. No touchdowns for either of them is where it hurts. Javonte got the goal line touchdowns because there was a bunch of PIs every time they were in the red zone. So Javonte had a great day from the touchdown dependency. Harvey is stealing Dobbins' touches, man. I would try trading Dobbins high while you can. I think he's losing his role. Harvey has 3 touchdowns for RJ Harvey. You can't believe your eyes. Bo Nix had 4 touchdowns. Troy Franklin, heck of a game, breakout day. I trust Troy Franklin in my lineup in games that are going to be shootouts. Is it going to be a shootout every week? No, it's not. They take on the Texans next week in Houston. They're actually dogs. Or maybe the Texans are dogs, but it's a close spread in that game. So Troy Franklin might be worth a stash and a start in week number 9. There is reacting to every game that happened so far heading into the night football. Again, we'll have the weekly rankings coming out soon as well. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions.